Error occurred. Wait a
Mm-hmm.
minute. What?
Mm-hmm. What'd you say?
Say
Let me clear my throat.
clear my throat.
Some DJ Cool.
Yes, sir. Showing our age, I think.
Some DJ Cool, man. If you don't know nothing about no DJ Cool, you got a problem. Whoever
Man,
you are, if you don't know about DJ Cool, man, you
come
know.
on now.
Let me clear my throat. That's like the jam. If I had like walk up, if I was a baseball player, that'd be my walk up music. That'd be my walk up music, man. Because man, that joint was the bomb, man.
I'd love that joint.
But hey, man.
Hey,
we are on here again, man. What do you think? We are on here again.
We're back.
Won't stop, man. We just won't stop. We just
can't stop. Won't stop.
We like a bad penny, man.
You can't stop
like a bad penny. You keep showing up. Speaking of showing up, I'm showing up as Kirk M. Samuels.
And I shall be showing up as Jason B. Kendrick.
And we are showing up as Men of Masculinity, baby.
That's right. We show up as real men, having real conversations for you. That's right. This is your home for healthy masculinity.
I got
on
the sun
YouTubes
coming in the window,
and interwebs.
I got the sun and everything, man.
You better close some shades. Look like we get too much sun.
Nah, man. Shoot, I'm shining. That's my shine. That's my shine. I need the sun to grow. Speaking of sun, man, we can be playing hopefully some golf sometime soon, man.
Yes, sir.
Boom.
We need to bring out the RJ with his long arms. Show us how to do it.
Some golf, man. Some golf. But hey, man, we got an interesting topic today, man.
We do.
First
I
of
think
all,
we got a lot of interest already.
We had the long version of the conversation yesterday on the air. We recorded it Saturdays at 8 a.m. up here in the Mile High City, KLDC 1220 a.m.
With a nice replay Wednesday at 6 p.m. for you later folks.
Absolutely. We are your home for healthy masculinity, and we love it.
Yes.
We love it.
So
we don't have it all figured out.
We're getting better.
We don't expect everybody to agree. We don't agree with each other. Sometimes we tell each other, man, you crazy, you don't know what you're talking about. So
cray.
But hey, if you watching this, first of all, I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna do
it. Like and share.
Like and share. If you go to the Men of Masculinity page on Facebook, and I'm just hitting refresh now and seeing if this live stream is showing up yet on my screen anyway. I'm gonna hit share and I'm gonna share this. There we go. Boom. 3 shares already. What?
Yes, sir.
Sharing this? Who out there sharing this already, man? We got 3 shares already. 4. You know what I'm saying? But if you go on the Men of Masculinity page on Facebook as you're watching this live, if you comment on there, we can see the comments live here. We got a couple key fans out there that like to comment, and we'll put your comment up on the screen here, man.
We'll make you famous.
We'll make you famous. You know what I'm saying? But we got an interesting conversation here, man. Like I said, we unpacked this yesterday, and the whole
we're trying to condense it down, but
we're gonna go from here to here, so you will get the highlight version here.
Buckle your seatbelts because it's coming right between your eyes.
Oh, no doubt. We're bringing it to you. If you want to hear the longer version, you can check us out on YouTube.
Behind the scenes studio,
you see the whole studio version of this whole thing. Anyhow, the whole notion is, in terms of from that special woman in a man's life, what does a man like? What does a man want, and what does he not want?
What don't he want?
And what don't he want? And then what does he want? These are questions that guys talk about maybe a little bit sometimes. Definitely questions that women like to unpack and explore and all those kinds of things. And to get right at it, man, I think first and foremost, there are seasons or phases to a man's life and a guy's life. And so when he's young, there's different priorities than when a guy gets older, and so some of these things might be at one phase of a male's growth and hopefully development, and some of these things might be kind of later on in life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to put it simply, when you're in your teens and your 20s, for most men, 51 out of 100, probably more than that, it's really about the booty. It's
about the booty.
Looks. They want
about
looks.
The aesthetics, man. It's about all this.
They want to soil their royal oats and experience as many fine females as they can, and that's normally for most men. That's the path they take. I know I was there. I did some soiling. There was some oat soiling.
I mean, and that's we just being real, right? We keep it real. That's when you're young. Those are kind of the priorities.
That's what's most important,
man. Yeah. It just is what it is. We are wired to be a certain way, and when we're at the physical peaks in life, you know, a lot of things that are on the surface, a lot of things that we're visually wired to will kind of capture us. And so a lot of times, man, when you're young, I know, yeah, when I was that age, man, when I was in my teens, definitely in my 20s and college and all that
Yep.
kind of stuff, man. I mean, it was all about that, man. It was all
Yeah.
about the mood.
And the biggest thing is when you're at that age and when all you're caring about is a physical, you'll put up with a lot more drama, a lot more silliness. You put up with a lot of stuff because you're not thinking long term. You're just like, as long as she comes home tonight, I can deal with all
Yeah.
this. So
Mm-mm.
if you happen to catch a one on the hot crazy scale that's high up there, you're
Yeah.
like, I can handle this for 24 hours.
Yeah.
This will be all right. But
Yeah.
as we get older, we start coming down on that scale because
Yeah.
we start having our own opinions and our own boundaries, and we start not putting up with so much of the BS.
Yeah. And
As it
that's how
were.
I think, man. I think, you know, I don't know if you get more patience or less patience. I think you get more patience for some things and less
Yeah.
patience for other
Less for
things.
others. Yeah.
And you know, and there's some things that, you know, yeah, this phase in life, I'm like, man, I ain't got no
No
time for all that,
patience.
man.
No.
You know, no
Mm-mm.
thank you. You know, but yeah, there was a phase in life where I was willing to, you know, willing to put up with this in order to get this. You know, now it's like, yeah, no, thank you. You know, I don't need this. I don't want this if I got to put up with that. And so,
I ain't got time for
you
that.
know, those are kind of the phases that we go through in life as guys and as men.
At least
You know, and
starting out. I
so
mean, that's important starting out. But then as we mature and get older and have a purpose and a job and a career,
yeah,
then our priorities shift. And then we want some depth
yeah,
and want some personality. So we still want cute, we want attractive, but
yeah,
it doesn't have to be that arm candy trophy wife looking thing. We want
right,
you to be more, there's more personality and depth, because if we're thinking long term, we're like, how are we going to fit together? How is this going to work together? Because
yeah.
there's a lot of things that just don't work, and we figured it out usually the hard way.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, we're talking generalities. So yeah,
51 out
you
of
can
100 in
find
our own personal opinion.
right. You can find the older guy that, you know, is chasing the look and all this other kind of stuff. Yeah, 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 yeah. We can't talk about the exception. I mean, you know, we can't have general conversations about exceptions. So we're talking about basically the 51 out of 100, right? And so yeah. Now, you know, we're at a point where we've been through our teens, we've been through our 20s, we've been through our 30s, all as males. Like, you know, not everybody can say they've been a man their whole life, but we can. And you know, now we're both kind of in our 40s phase, and you know, pretty soon, in a matter of months, I'll be crossing over that. I'll be changing that first digit of my age.
Oh
And
no,
so
say that
now,
so.
you know, so you know, but hey, man, I look good. You know, black don't
I'm
crack. You
telling you.
know, they say
See?
beige don't age.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Um, so you know, so I think, you know, so let's talk about kind of as we're a little bit older now, you know,
Mhm.
now that we're in this phase, you know, let's talk about that. And let's, you know, let's get it right out of the way. First and foremost, man, looks. First and
Mhm.
foremost, you know, in terms of, you know, in terms of looks and what where that ranks on the priorities
Yep.
of men. I think that's worthy to unpack for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not usually what is sold. It's not usually what I think the ladies are getting sold out there, and it definitely shifts from when you're in your 20s. Your teens
Yeah.
and 20s is definitely all about looking a certain way and everything.
Yeah.
As you get older and as men mature, for a lot of us, it shifts from that Victoria's Secret model to all that makeup and all that silliness to we're thinking more natural. We want
Yeah.
to know what you look like with your makeup, without your makeup. We
Yeah.
don't necessarily want all this contouring and all this craziness where you take your makeup off and we're like, who are you? I don't need all that.
Oh man. All right, here we go. You open the door. Here we go. I'm
I
going
did.
in on it.
Doors
I'm
wide. Oh,
going in on it.
we
I'm
talking about
going
San
in on it,
Diego?
man. I'm going in on it, man. Here's the
Oh,
story,
okay.
man.
So
Here's the
so as
story.
younger men, we tend to only worry about in the club and
I'm
don't care
going in on
about
it, man. I'm telling
lights
the
go
story,
on.
man. You know,
Cue
so
the light story.
I was in my early 20s, right? And I was, you know, young military officer, you know, stationed on the ship, and at one point we found ourselves in San Diego. And
Balling.
you know, we get into San Diego and you know, down, you know, found a nice little club, nice little bar. Man, I met this fine girl, man. She was fine. I mean, and I was like putting my Mac on like all night long. I mean, I was, you know, you lost that loving feeling. I was work, you know, man, I was like, I was doing my Maverick thing like all up in the
Yes,
club
sir.
all night long, man. I was working and I just knew. I mean, man, I had all pistons firing. You know, when you got the game, you got the
Yes, sir.
word game, and man, I was like spitting the compliments, and I had all the one-liners, man. Just laughing and giggling, all kinds of chemistry, and I'm like, ooh, man, I'm about to bring this one home, man. I'm about to land this helicopter on the flight deck, man. Here we go. And so all night long I go through this, man, and I'm going after. Then it comes down to the end of the night, man. End of the night roll around. All right, it's time to seal the deal. It's time to, go ahead, put some ink on this contract, right? And so so club shuts down, have last call, last song or whatever you want to call it, last dance, all that kind of stuff. And I was getting my groove on even that night too, man. So, club shuts down, it's time to go, lights come on. JBK. It was a dude, man. It was a dude the whole time, man. Dude, the whole time. Dude, I'm telling you, man, but see, here's the thing. Man. You can't go by the neck. You can't go by the Adam's apple, man, because you can get fillers in there and all that kind of stuff. You can't check that. See, here's how you know for sure. Okay? Here's fellas, I'm going to give you some game. You got to look at the hand. You got to look at the hand because on men, the ring finger is longer than the index finger. But on women, that ain't the case. On women, either the ring finger and index finger are the same length, or the index finger is quite commonly longer. Now, everybody at home is sitting there looking at their hands. Like, what? Yeah. So, dude, you know when I found that out? That night in San Diego, dude. Because some other dude, I mean, I guess somebody else that was with me, they could tell. Like, they knew all night that I was like macking on this dude, right? That I ain't know it was a dude, And so afterwards, it's like, this chief, this NCO on the ship, he was like, man, you couldn't tell the whole night? I was like, no, I couldn't tell, man. And he was like, man, I could look at the hand from here. So that's how I found out, man. So the whole point is we want to know what you look like when the lights come on, man. We want to know what you look like at the end of the night at a club. We want to know what you look like in the morning. And you got to stop buying into, ladies, all of this Hollywood. Here's what you need to do to fix yourself, to fix your whatever, and to be all made up. Because quite honestly, now when I see a whole lot of work done, I think you might be hiding something beneath the surface.
Yeah,
and you trying to cover it up with something on the surface.
You remember, I'm gonna get you, sucker. We don't need none of that. Where
take off
the wig comes off, the eyelashes come off,
dude.
The chest comes off, the butt comes off, the leg comes off,
It's like what the?
We're not looking for all that. Come on.
So here's the secret, ladies. Here's the secret. No guy has ever said, "Ooh, I gotta get her, man. Look how smooth her forehead is." And no guy ever said, man, her face don't move at all, man. I need to get with that. No guy ever said, look at them lips all injected, man. I got to get with that. No guy ever said, look how fluffy her eyelashes are, man. I got to get with that. And no guy
that's one of
ever
my pet peeves right there. The crazy long eyelashes. Like, dude, what is going on?
See, some of that is what they buy into in terms of like, this is the things I got to do to get a guy. And I think a lot of that stuff they do to impress other women, but not to get a guy.
Yeah. Well, especially, I mean, we're in our 40s and, so we're like, if we're out in the dating world, it's 30 to 50 or whatever. We're in that zone. And there's a lot of ladies, like you said, with the Botox and the cosmetic surgery and everything just gets smooth. And all of a sudden they don't have no expression. I mean, ladies, it's hard enough for us to understand what you're doing and what you mean anyway. And if we can't see no expression, we can't see if you crunch your eyes or you pout your lip. If it's all just, there's no movement and it's just plastic, it's so hard. It's hard enough for us to know what you're thinking anyway. I mean, come on, help us out.
Dude, it's harder to read your mind when I can't even read your face. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, but I'm telling you, man, that's just stuff that, and again, there's a fine line between doing it for you to look, maybe you look pretty yourself, blah, blah, blah. But then there's a point where, okay, when this is like this and that's your whole look all the time, okay, that's something that's not natural. Like there's something, again,
when you look surprised all day long, or you don't have any expression whatsoever.
The fake lips that stick out like that and all that kind of stuff, or you look like that, when you
look like Sinead. Hi.
These kind of things are not necessarily important to men. These things are not something that, again, no guy has ever said, I got to get that phone number because look how smooth her forehead is. And no guy ever said that, man. Oh, she was fine, yo. Her face didn't move at all when she laughed. Ain't no guy ever said that. I mean, so those
Yeah,
are the
when she
kind of things
smiled,
that
her face didn't move, nothing.
nothing. I mean, no guy ever said that, man. So, I mean, that's one of the things that, again, I think women buy into that, it's not really a thing that
No,
guys really look for.
no.
A whole
I
lot
mean,
of
when it
just
comes down to
made
it,
up.
yeah, when it comes down to it, I mean, once we get, especially as men get older and we have a purpose and a career, we have other things to worry about. Looks become secondary. If you have personality, if you are supportive, if we vibe together, we communicate, if we laugh together, we're not looking for tens. And as a matter of fact,
Yeah.
most of us, as we go through the young teen 20 years, the party years, we stop looking at the hot made up girls because we just immediately go drama, high maintenance. I don't you want to I'm too old. I got
Yeah.
time for that. I don't want to deal with
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
we're I'm looking for a good 6 to 8. You
Yeah.
know, you're cute, your body's pretty good, you're semi fit, we can go do stuff together. I mean, because 'cause I'm not trying to run marathons anymore. I'm not
Right.
trying to, like, be doing 20
Ain't got
miles, so
time
it's
for that.
like we can go hiking, we can go do fun things, that's fine. You don't
Mhm.
have to look like and stop looking at these magazines thinking that's what we want. Because those skinny girls, that
Yeah.
looks like a boy with a nice
Dude,
head. Like, they
I'm
put a
telling you,
head like
man.
they put the Barbie head on the Ken doll
Yeah.
body. I don't know what's going on there.
It's like them brat dolls, man. I mean, you ain't got kids, you ain't got little, but back in the day, man, my little daughters when they were young, they used to have them brat dolls, man, and them things. Or if you watch the show Selling Sunset, like all them LA, they just look so made up, man. Everything is fake, and it's like the older I get, the more real I want, in
Mhm.
terms of the woman that I'm with, real in every kind
Yeah,
of way. And so, man, all that, and the looks and all that kind of stuff, like
yeah,
ladies, you can pump the brakes on some of that. I mean,
yeah,
all that stuff is cool, but you can pump the brakes on all that kind of stuff, man.
yeah,
So
work on the
mm,
personality and some
work on all
conversation
the inside.
skills, and, I mean, because 'cause we've all had the experience. I'm sure some of you
Yeah.
ladies can even attest to this too, where you've gone out, you had a few drinks, you're partying, you pick up some dude, or we picked up a girl, and we go home, and we think it's amazing, then we wake up in the morning like,
Yeah.
"Who are you?
Like,
Where'd you come
what
from?
the
Do you not
yeah.
wait, the are you the what's your name again? Oh, Lord."
Right, right, right.
What they call coyote ugly, you gotta chew your arm
Yeah.
off in the morning
Yeah.
because you wake up somebody you didn't know,
Yeah.
you didn't
And
think
that's the
you
kind of
knew.
thing, man. So, hey, so that's the outside. So what about the
That's
inside?
the
I got a
outside.
question for you, man. Do men like boss babe, boss
Mm.
chick, boss B? Does that impress men? What do you think?
Well, I mean, in today's society, with a lot of the nice guy beta males who will just say yes to whatever they're presented to, I think there's a lot of misinformation. But for most of us guys, I would say no. I mean, now granted, in this society, we both need to work. A lot of us, if we want to have a comfortable income or we want to have a comfortable house, both, man and woman need to work. But can we
Mhm.
turn it off and become a couple when we get home again? Or am I coming home to a boss babe that is ordering me around? Because I don't
Yeah,
need that.
yeah,
I just
yeah.
had that at work all day.
Right.
Can I come home and have some peace
Yeah.
and quiet and get to settle down when I
Yeah.
come home? So I mean, I've seen it, and I know we talk about polarity, so I know there's some beta male, feminine guys that match with the alpha boss babe, but for the most part, I would say for most guys, no,
Yeah.
it's a turn
Yeah.
off, and it doesn't lead necessarily to a happy home life unless
Yeah.
she's aware and can turn it off, be like, okay, I'm done with
Yeah.
work. It's
Yeah.
like as guys do. We're at work, that's work. We're focused on that. We
Yeah.
come home, that's home. We're focused on that.
Yeah, I mean,
What do you
I
think,
would
sir?
say, especially if you're out there in the ladies, if you're in the single dating realm and all that kind of stuff, you can probably bank on the fact that a guy is not going to be impressed by how successful you are in your
Mm,
career. I mean, as far as being impressed by that, like, ooh, that makes you more of a catch because you running this, you running that, you making this, you making that, and all that kind of stuff. That's not really a priority thing, and quite often, sometimes that can come off as masculine energy in terms
mm,
of in terms of you're aspiring for to be those things. Now I'm not saying that guys look for somebody that's dumb as a bag of rocks the same way I'm
mm-mm.
not saying that guys look for somebody that's ugly like Oscar the Grouch on Sesame Street. That's not what I'm saying, but in terms of the whole boss babe thing, I think that's something that in my opinion, as women have become more masculine in our culture, I think there's been a push to be more successful and be more. Yeah, I'm running things and I got
Mm,
this and I got that, thinking that that's important to men, but that's not important to guys. I mean, guys not
yeah.
impressed by how much money you make. I mean, it's just not a thing.
Yeah, I think what has been sold and what has been pushed is that what women find attractive in men they have been told that that's what men find attractive in women,
Right.
the career and
Mm-hmm.
the income and the status.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not true. We're looking for peace and
Yeah.
agreeability and somebody who
Yeah.
matches with us, somebody we can
Yeah.
have peace with. And honestly, results often harsh, but always
Yeah.
fair. You look
Yeah.
at how many successful women out there are struggling to find men. You
Yeah.
look at how many successful women out there, high end, like high-end CEO or in the media or whatever, are
Yeah.
struggling and they're single and they can't seem to keep a guy or find a guy. A lot of
Yeah.
that has to do with that fact that they either don't know how to turn it off or they're not willing to shift gears
Yeah.
from boss babe, masculine,
Yeah.
female to a partner.
Yeah, I mean, and again, we're talking at home. We're talking on the inside of the door at the house. Our super producer Nikki. She says that we don't. What did she say? But we don't want to be that all the time. We're stuck there, and without a man, we forget how to step out. I mean, I think that's phenomenal in terms of. I agree.
That's good awareness. Yeah.
Culturally, like you got to do that kind of stuff. You got to be all that kind of stuff in the presence of a man, or in the presence of you pursuing a relationship with a man. Understand that that's not a priority, that's not
Yep.
important, that's not impressive. Like you're not gonna, I'm not gonna say, wow, you're more of a catch because you're career oriented or because that's and that's your priority. That's just, it's just not a thing. Again, for most men, way more than 51 out of 100.
Yep.
It's just not a thing. So you got to be willing to put that aside. You can have all that success and career and all that kind of stuff. Anyone that I'm with in a relationship, I want her to be successful in all of those ways. I want her to be fulfilled in all those kind of ways. But when we come home, if you can't put all that, the aspiration for
Mhm.
career dominance and all that kind of stuff, if you can't put all that boss babe aside, then we're going to clash when we get home.
Yep.
And so that's what we're talking about in terms of the difference between out there versus in here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we have no problem with what you do at work. We want you to have your career. We want you to have your dreams and everything else. And if they match with ours, if we're compatible, fine. But when we come home and forgot, and I think that's the biggest misconception, or maybe it's not taught. When guys come home, the number one thing, especially guys like in our age, we want peace. And what we see when we see the boss babe and the alpha woman and all that stuff is it doesn't
Yeah.
look peaceful. It looks like competition. It looks like
Yeah.
I'm going to come home and be an employee after I just got off work. And that's not what we want. And you can tell because, I mean, how many guys, when they get off work, they don't go straight home? I mean,
Yeah.
the classic TV example is Norm from Cheers. Like he was
Yeah.
afraid of his woman, so he stayed at the bar until he was good and drunk before he went home.
Yeah.
There's that shift that we have to make from work to home. And if we're afraid to get home, if it doesn't feel like a safe space,
Yeah.
we're gonna stall. We're gonna, go have some drinks and you know, uh, numb out a bit before we
Yeah.
try to head home.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a great segue from mostly stuff that men don't want to what men
Hey, what
want.
do we want?
What I've wholeheartedly agree, man, that and I think it gets so lost in the sauce, it gets lost in the culture that
Yeah.
men at our core, we want peace when we come. We
Mhm.
want peace. That's the place where we gravitate towards. And in terms of a woman in our life, if you can represent the peace in our life, then we will find a way to gravitate towards you. When a
Yep.
guy wakes up early to go fishing, or wakes up early to
Mhm.
go hunting, or wakes up early to go play golf, or whatever it is, those are places that he finds peace, and he's willing to make the sacrifice to be in those places. They say fishing ain't about catching fish.
Nope.
Hunting is not necessarily about coming home with something on the hood of your car. Golf ain't about coming home with a hole in one, although if you get one, it's pretty cool. Just
Ain't
saying,
rubbing it in, damn time.
rubbing it in. But guys want peace.
Peace.
And so if you want to be beautiful, if you want to be attractive, if you want to be captivating to a man, offer him peace in some kind of way.
Yeah, I think we've lost a lot of the give and take and the natural balance between the masculine and feminine. And
Mhm.
I think there's also a big mis- uh, misrepresentation for like what guys want. I think a lot of times
Mhm.
ladies are listening to ladies and, well, he should want me because I have a degree and I have all these things, or he
Mhm.
should want me because I'm driven and I'll help him become the best guy that he can be. Well, look at what guys do for recreation. We go hunting, we go fishing, we go play golf, we go hiking, we get out in nature. What do all those things have in common? silence, peace, and
Mhm.
quiet.
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
can be that with him, if you can be that safe, silent, peaceful place for him,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to like pry that dude off you. He's
Yeah.
not gonna leave because we are so we're so missing that in work and in friendships in our life because most of us now are on our own or
Yeah.
we're doing our own thing, and so we're always hustling.
Yeah.
And if we cannot find peace at home, I mean,
Yeah.
I know for me, a lot of times the fact that I'm still single is because I really enjoy my peace. And I'm almost getting
Yeah.
to that point now where it's like, well, can you come in and still be peaceful? Because it's pretty peaceful here all by myself.
Yeah,
Just saying.
I'm with you too, man. There, it's like I'm basically pretty much an empty nester at this point, and I'm kind of like I kind of dig this, man. Like this is cool. That's not to say that somebody can't add to the piece and multiply the piece, but for sure. Now, Federico's comment. I mean, we were actually just talking about this before we got on here. That
Yep.
a lot of times, women will find themselves in these kind of masculine spaces of aspiring and doing for self and becoming, very kind of hyper independent and all these other kind of things as a matter of survival and
Yep.
that survival just in this world, but then also emotional survival of this happened to me before and I don't want it to happen to me again, so I got to kind of insulate myself with all of the things that I need to protect myself and to take care of myself, and I get that kind of thing. And obviously we're talking about the good man. We're not talking about the abusive man, the man that will take advantage of you. We're not talking about the man in your past. We're talking about potentially a man in your future.
Yeah, I think that's a great point because if your track record has been the unhealthy, toxic guy, then read the book, go to chapter 1, know thyself. You got to figure out who you are and why your picker's broke and why you keep choosing those same guys
Yeah.
and do that work. And as you do that work and you start basically changing the channel, your frequency of who you are out in the world, you'll start attracting better guys and better people. But one of the things that I do see quite a bit is that there's such a fear of being alone that you just bounce from one thing, or you're always out there searching and you never stop. It's like if you're growing a garden or you're growing food, plant the seed, but you got to give it time to grow. And so many people are too busy bouncing from things, you don't allow the time to gestate and the time for things to grow, for yourself to grow enough to go, oh, this is what I really need, and it's not what I used to get or what I was looking for before.
And so not only is there the bouncing from one thing to the other, or there's the other side of, again, I'm going to become so independent that I'm going to be so locked into my piece. It's going to become my cocoon, my safe place. And my cocoon is going to protect me. My cocoon is going to provide me everything I want and all these other kind of things. But, caterpillars belong in cocoons. Butterflies don't. Right. And so at some point that metamorphosis, that transition, if you're in that cocoon space in life where you are in that kind of self-preservation kind of thing. And I'm kind of partially speaking to myself. I got to recognize that, but that's not really who my butterfly is. My butterfly is something totally, totally different. My butterfly wants, to fly free and to live in relationship and community and be out there in the wind and having those butterfly effects in life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you want to use the butterfly analogy, I mean, butterflies, they completely in the cocoon, they liquefy and then they start to regrow. And if you attempt to help that butterfly out of the cocoon, you kill it because it's that struggle that they have to go through to unfurl their wings, to get the blood out into their wings that they need. And for a lot of us, we go through all this trauma, we go through these different stages in life. And when we start doing that inner work, we think, oh, now I'm doing the work, it's going to get easier. No, now you have to change a lot of your past patterns. You have to change your mind. You have to change the way you show up in the world, which will happen naturally, but you have to go through that struggle of changing those patterns. And the more you go through that struggle, the easier it's going to get. But it doesn't get, just because you got a counselor or a therapist and now you've gone to your first meeting. That's just the beginning. You're just now getting into the cocoon and you're just now starting the process. There's going to be struggle, but at the end of that struggle, you're a butterfly, baby. You're going to fly.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the captain, and we are lining up on runway 23 left. And I want to thank you for taking a trip with us yet again on Madman Radio. And just want
Hey, put your seatbelt on.
Put your seatbelt on, put your tray tables, seats, the upright and locked position, and we'll be coming in for a landing here. We'll to gate C35, and your baggage, your luggage will be at carousel 2.
Just leave your baggage behind.
With us, and you leave your baggage behind. Matter of fact, your baggage is better with us than with you. You don't need it where you're going.
Yes.
You don't need to take that
Just leave
with
that
you.
behind.
Leave your baggage there.
So JBK, what do you think, man? What do you think? Final thoughts.
Well, what men want is probably a lot different than what you've been told. And so it's a matter of maybe talking to men or listening to us and stop listening to your girlfriends. And what we don't want is a lot of things that have been promoted out in the media. So talk to the guys, actually listen, and you might find out that you might be closer to what he wants than you think. What do you think, sir?
I think, hopefully these thoughts can kind of maybe free some women up to not be, so trapped in the monetization of what men want. Because I think a lot of the things that women are told are attractive or that men are looking for, they're told that because it's easy to monetize that. It's easy to sell that to you. It's easy for somebody to make money. From a peace perspective, it's a lot more difficult to monetize peace. War can be monetized easier than peace, right? So I think hopefully women can maybe get a little bit of relief in the pressure that you don't have to necessarily become all this, spend all this, whatever on the outside. No guy's going to recognize your red soled heels, the heels with the red bottoms. No guy's going to recognize, ooh, that's a Louis that you're carrying around. No guy's going to say, ooh, I'm so glad her face can't move. Man, I really want to be with her. No, I mean that's just not. So
Are you happy?
Hopefully those kind of things can free some women up. And from a guy perspective, hopefully we can be free to like what we like and to value what we value. I think when we devalue all of the just purely the physical nature of a woman, then we begin to look beneath the surface and we begin to get somebody with some depth and not just with some width.
Yeah. I mean, we all love looking at fine pieces of art and things, but we don't buy much because we know what high maintenance looks like. So don't be high maintenance.
Right. Don't be high maintenance.
We love y'all, though.
It costs a lot of money to get an oil change in a Ferrari. You know what I'm saying?
Telling you what.
And so
the frosting is sweet, but the dental bill is high.
Ooh, I like that one. That was a good one. So anyhow,
like that.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff, JBK. Good stuff,
right,
brother. Hey, if somebody wants wait. If somebody wants to get a hold of JBK, if they want to talk with JBK, how do they get a hold of you, man?
I think if you look right down here, you can go to the website, and then if you keep your eyes open, you'll be seeing the Madman Radio website coming up, which has all of our stuff. It's in the works, so we'll let you know about that. And then if you can't get a hold of me, if I'm on the golf course, you can call this gentleman right here. How they gonna get a hold of you? Wait,
first of all,
I'm probably on
a golf course with you.
So leave a message and we'll get back
to you. Down there. But by the way, and for sure, especially if you're still listening to us, we're on the radio. Especially if you're in the Denver area, 12:20 a.m. Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. and then Wednesdays in the evening at 6 p.m.
You have a replay.
You can hear like the hour-long versions, the deeper versions of these conversations.
Yeah, we just did this recording last night. And for those of you who like the behind-the-scenes sort of thing, go to YouTube, type in Men of Masculinity, and you'll see this basically same episode title. We just did that. It's live on YouTube right now, and you can see the behind-the-scenes. You see our air breaks. You see us being stupid, making radio show.
All that kind of stuff.
You might like it.
All the goodness. So that's about that. JBK, I love you, brother, and we'll I'm pretty sure we'll find ourselves somewhere on a green patch of grass soon.
Yeah, we need some grass and some air. We need some nature.
We need some peace
and quiet.
We need some
love
peace.
y'all. Peace.
Madmen